Okay, it looks like we are live. What I want to cover today is the issue of Candida and how to balance Candida naturally. A lot of people, more and more it seems, are having problems with an out of balance Candida, which can be just a little bit irritating or uncomfortable, or it can be quite serious depending on to the extent to which you have the overgrowth. So before we get into that, we need to understand a little bit about what Candida is and why it gets out of balance. Because as normal, if you go to the doctor and you have a Candida issue, he's going to give you something to kill the Candida, which seems reasonable, except it doesn't deal with the cause of the problem in the first place. So invariably, if you just kill Candida, since you can't kill all Candida as it's supposed to be in our body, okay, we have Candida naturally in our body. Everyone has Candida. So if you kill some of the excess, all that's going to happen is it's going to grow back again. Okay, and so you're going to be in this never ending kill it, grow back again, kill it, grow back again cycle. And sometimes the act of killing it, if can be actually damaging in of itself. It can cause other problems if you kill it without also dealing with the root cause. You can cause a lot of toxins to be released by the Candida, which can give you detox symptoms, which in themselves can be damaging, or at the very minimum make you feel lousy. Okay, so unlike the doctors who just see a symptom and attempt to suppress that symptom, we need to understand why we have a Candida overgrowth and deal with that, and then the Candida will go back to its natural balance. So that's what I want to talk about, and I want to talk about how we create that natural balance. Okay, so the first thing that we need to understand, then, I already mentioned, is that Candida is in all of us, and it's actually there for our good. Like many different bacteria, this is obviously not bacteria, this is a fungus, it's a yeast type fungus. Okay, but like many of these things in our body that are meant to be in our body, they're actually there for our benefit, although sometimes, for various reasons, they can become a problem in of themselves. So many people are aware that Candida feeds on sugar, um, and they therefore believe that sugar is the prime problem, and it isn't. So it is true that Candida feeds on sugar, and if you have a sugar issue, for example, you're diabetic and you have constantly high sugar levels, you're probably going to end up with an overgrowth of Candida as well. So it is gonna feed on those sugars. But if you're not diabetic, then that's an unlikely cause of Candida overgrowth, because your sugar levels will be correct even if you're eating a bit too much or even a lot too much sugar. Um, so the food that people seem to be unaware of that Candida thrive on and is the main problem for most people. It's not sugar, although that can be a contributory factor, and in some people it can be the prime factor, but it's actually heavy metal toxins, toxins in general and heavy metal in particular. So Candida feeds on heavy metals, and that's a good thing. So what the Candida is doing, if you become toxic, if your body has too many toxins in it, the Candida is going to start to feed on those toxins, which is good. Okay, it's not good you've got the toxins, obviously, but it is good that it's helping to remove the toxins from your bloodstream or wherever they may be. So that's a good thing. So the Candida and parasites, by the way, also same thing. Parasites also eat toxins. Okay, so if you have too many toxins in your body, it creates the imbalances that lead to things like Candida overgrowth, excess parasites, and so on. So the root cause then is toxicity, and the doctors don't address that at all in the way that they treat Candida. or parasites or anything else. So they're not addressing the actual root cause. So if you therefore are full of toxins and Candida starts to feed on those toxins and it explodes in growth, and then you just kill the Candida, first of all, it's gonna, as it dies, it's gonna release those toxins it's eaten. Okay, so you suddenly have an explosion of toxins back in your system, which can be damaging, or at the very minimum, it can make you feel pretty lousy. Okay, and secondly, okay, you've killed the Candida, but the toxins are still there. In fact, now you've got more toxins because it's released more toxins that it had eaten. So now what's going to happen is the Candida that didn't die, and you're never going to kill it all, is going to grow again like crazy. And so you're just going to get a reoccurrence of the problem. So Candida can be in many parts of the body. One of the places you see it is oral, so in the mouth area, or esophagus and so on. Vaginal for women, or penile can be for men. But that's the sort of external areas where you can see the Candida sometimes, and but also it can be in your blood, it's in your gut, it can be in your tissues, it can be on your skin, etc. So, and it does do damage as well. It does do damage depending on the form it's in. It can do damage to your tissues, your skin, and so on. So what we therefore have to do, now we know a little bit about what Candida is, that it is for our good, but it also can damage us if there's too much of it. What we need to do is address the cause. So what is the cause? So the cause, as I've just said, is toxicity. So how do we address that? We have to remove the toxins, so that we're basically removing the food of the Candida. Now, one of the things it does with the toxins, by the way, it's very clever, but so it eats the toxins, and then it creates something called a biofilm, where it's like a gel almost, or mucus. It wraps itself in this biofilm, which is a protective coating, which protects it from your immune system. Okay, so it eats toxins, but it also uses toxins to create a protective coating, so that your immune system can't get to it and destroy it. Okay, so we'll come back to that. So step number one to helping to recreate the balance that we need to get back to is to remove the toxins, pesticides, herbicides, heavy metals, and so on that the Candida are eating. It's a good idea not to do too much sugar as well. It's another one of their foods. So if you've got a Candida problem, you might want to cut back on your sugar as well. So we're going to remove the toxins. So I use a protocol called the booze protocol, which does the primary things needed to get Candida back into balance. So the first of those supplements is something called PBX, which is a nano zeolite, and that does one job unbelievably well, and that is to remove a massive range of toxins, including the heavy metals, pesticides, and herbicides that Candida loves. So it's a liquid spray. Oh, I have one right here. It's a liquid spray. You just spray it into the mouth. I've already had mine, so I don't just one spray there, but I do 4 sprays typically. So you spray it into the mouth. It's absorbed sublingually through the mucous membrane, which is where the Candida loves to live. It's absorbed 100% into the blood, and it's going to start removing the food of the Candida. And the food of the Candida is not only the food of the Candida, but it's also damaging your body through oxidation, inflammation, and all different kinds of ways it's damaging your body. So you want to get those toxins out, not just for the Candida, but because of the other types of damage that those toxins are doing to your body. So the zeolite is going to float around in your blood, and it's like a toxin magnet. So it's going to attract, it's going to pull the toxins to it, it's going to grab them, trap them, neutralize them, and then within 6 hours it's going to leave your body carrying its toxic load. So over a period of time, that's going to bring your toxic load down, thereby bringing down the food of the Candida, and the Candida will begin to naturally get back into balance. So that's the first supplement. The second supplement I use is something called Black Oxygen Organics. It's a fulvic humic acid. Now, this is going to help in a number of ways. First off, It's going to help with the detox. So it's going to, using a different mechanism, it's going to support the detox. It's going to also remove heavy metals and various pesticides, herbicides, and so on. It's going to work not in the gut, especially. It's going to help the gut health. So that's going to be a supportive role for the PBX. But it's going to do a whole range of other things, of which I'm not going to go into all of those right this minute. But one of the things it does directly as well is it breaks down the biofilms that protect the Candida, and it helps to remove the Candida from the body. Actually, I'm going to show you in just a moment some pictures, because one of the few places that you can see Candida, because it has to be external to see it, is on the tongue or on the skin. Okay, so I'm going to show you what black oxygen, or we call BOO, black oxygen organics, we call it BOO, what it can do in a couple of minutes on Candida. The best place to see that is on the tongue. So here we have a picture of a lady who has Candida. Hopefully you can see that on her tongue right there. So she has Candida right here, okay? And then she's put some black oxygen on her tongue. She says for 30 to 60 seconds, which is, I usually like to do, like people to do it for a few minutes, but she did it just for 60 seconds and then cleaned off. And that was her tongue afterwards. Now you can get a normal toothbrush and toothpaste and so on and scrub at your tongue. You're not going to get that result. That's because the black oxygen here is literally, let me get rid of that, is literally breaking the biofilm and killing the Candida. At the same time, it's helping with the detox. So you're not just killing Candida alone, but you're dealing with the cause at the same time. Very, very important. You deal with the cause and with the killing. So let me have a look at another example. Okay, so this has done some damage to the tongue. You see the cracks. You can see it better here than here because the Candida has been removed. Does it say how long? No, she doesn't say how long. But again, so and those cracks, those fissures will, if you keep using the BOO, they will gradually start to heal up as well. Okay, so again, you can see rapid improvement. Let's look at another one. You can see the damage to the tongue here by the Candida. It does damage the skin, or can damage the skin, and you see, what does she say here? 1 day. 1 day in this case, so she presumably did it once, and that was her tongue less than 12 hours later. So as I say, you can see very rapid results. Here's a few different people, befores and afters, before and after, before and after. So we see the white, or sometimes it's a bit green haze here. Actually, the fissure looks worse here than here. It seems to be already starting to improve. So let me give one more example, this time on the actual skin. So this is Candida on the skin, okay? And you can see her face here. This is on the 15th, and a couple of weeks later, we see the vast improvement on her skin after she's been using black oxygen. So that shows you how rapidly that BOO can start to affect Candida, break down the biofilms and destroy the Candida, while at the same time contributing and helping with dealing with the root cause, which is the imbalances created by toxicity. Sometimes it can be helpful to think of like a pond. If you've ever seen a pond, a healthy pond with fish and frogs and tadpoles and all the rest of it, in that pond, you'll usually see a little bit of algae somewhere. If you poison that pond, that algae will become it will grow exponentially, and sometimes it will grow so thick that it will literally kill the oxygen in the pond and stagnate it. That's so the algae. That's algae you can think of as Candida. It's there all the time, but if you poison the pond, it gets out of balance. Okay, so you can scrape off the algae. You know, you can pull it all off. It's just going to keep coming back unless you fix the toxicity problem of the pond. Okay, that is what you need to do. So Same is going on in your body. You need to clean up the blood. You need to clean up the digestive tract and your gut and so on. You need to clean it all up, start removing those toxins, and at the same time, you can start gently killing the candida. And if you do those things in combination, you will gradually or sometimes rapidly get back into balance, and the candida issues will disappear. But candida is just a sign of imbalances. So your goal might be to get rid of the candida, but you're actually doing a much more important job than that, because the cause that's created the candida problem is causing a lot of other problems in your body. So you may have other symptoms like brain fog, lack of energy, headaches, or panic attacks, anxiety, fibromyalgia. All of these are linked to the same imbalances which you're fighting when you're doing this booze protocol, which is just two supplements. Okay, two simple supplements. So hopefully that's helped you guys to understand a little bit about why we have candida imbalances and what we need to do about it. Now, if you haven't or not using Boo or PBX, please get in touch with me or the person that gives you this video. We will give you a link. We'll give you a very big discount on your first order as well. And we will also give you full free support, okay? Because it's really important. Everyone's a little bit different, and what we don't want is people using the wrong dose, and the dose varies from person to person. So most people need a little bit of help. It's not overly complicated, but without a bit of help, there are mistakes that can be made that can make things worse rather than better. So guys, I hope that all made sense to you. Have a fantastic day. Thank you very much. Bye bye.